Donald Trump's threats over Greenland and Ukraine could be a make-or-break test for NATO. At a lengthy press conference from Mar-a-Lago on Tuesday, President-elect Donald Trump marked the starting shot in what could be a make-or-break test for NATO over Ukraine, Greenland, and defense spending. The public articulation by Donald Trump of a new desired target for NATO allies to spend 5% of national income on defense will surely plunge governments across Europe into crisis mode, not least here in the UK. Britain presents itself to the world and in particular to the United States as the biggest defense spender in Europe and NATO's most powerful European military. Yet Sir Keir Starmer has not even managed to set out a timeline for what he describes as a path to 2.5% of GDP being invested in his armed forces, up from just over 2% today. If the Prime Minister merely sticks to this pledge, he risks being viewed by the new administration as woefully unambitious and not credible on defense. Then there is the extraordinary threat by Mr. Trump to seize Greenland by force if necessary, even though this valuable piece of territory belongs to a fellow NATO ally in the form of Denmark. The move, were it to happen, would demonstrate the limitations of the alliance's Article 5 founding principle. It is supposed to guarantee that all allies would come to the defense of any member state which is under armed attack. But what about if the aggressor is also meant to be an ally? The president-elect also appeared to dash any hope of Ukraine being offered membership to the alliance anytime soon, a core request of President Volodymyr Zelensky. Instead, Mr. Trump sounded sympathetic to Vladimir Putin's absolute opposition to such a move. He said he would meet the Russian president after taking office, reiterating a promise to end the war in Ukraine, though again without spelling out how. The outbursts came in a lengthy press conference on Tuesday that marked the starting shot in what could be a make-or-break test for NATO, an alliance of transatlantic friends that rose from the ashes of the Second World War. European members of NATO, as well as Canada, already took a battering the last time Mr. Trump was in the White House, and rightly so. The US had for far too long largely bankrolled the security of Europe, while the majority of its allies, including the UK, reaped the so-called peace dividend that followed the collapse of the Soviet Union and the end of the Cold War, swapping expenditure on defense for peacetime priorities such as economic growth, healthcare, and education. Mr. Trump made clear during his first term his displeasure about what he saw as Washington being ripped off and vowed to make Europe take its fair share of the burden. He even warned member states that the US would not come to the aid of an ally that was not hitting at the very least a minimum NATO spending targeting of 2% of GDP, something they had previously pledged to do by 2024 but were slow to deliver on. Such language electrified allies in a way that even Putin's initial 2014 invasion of Ukraine, with the annexation of Crimea and attacks in the east of the country, had not. Yet, with the threat from Russia growing in the wake of its full-scale war in Ukraine in 2022, coupled with conflict in the Middle East and the challenge posed by China, it has become clear that this heightened level of expenditure by allies was still far short of what is required to rebuild militaries across Europe that have been hollowed out over decades. That's what we can say. Don't forget to support our channel by liking, commenting, sharing and subscribing. We thank you all for your support.